Aloha.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. How's Axel doing over there?
He's doing good, chilling as usual. It's his
So,
sleepy time, it's like afternoonish. So,
yeah,
yeah.
afternoonish, getting dark at this time.
Yeah, so pretty soon he'll start acting up. Then we won't be able to keep up. So, should we try another topic?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
getting scared now because these are getting more complicated topics that I have to say,
Oh,
not sure I know too much about. So, it'll be a learning curve for me.
we'll see what we come up with. It's just to
Oh,
inspire ideas. So,
okay, this one's not too bad. Mentors in your life.
oh, wow. Okay. I would have to say, over the past 3 years, I've had more mentors than I ever knew possible. There was a long time for me in my life where I thought, I really could use a mentor.
Mhm.
I don't feel like I have any mentors. And what I've learned over this time is, you know, connecting with people that the realizing how we mentor each other and being around the right people for that was a question of getting away from things that were based on competition, like a work situation where I felt like I had absolutely no mentors because everything was about competition, ambition, and greed. So it's so cool to be in this new place where I'm like, oh, that person always was a mentor. I've read all of their books and now they're speaking about things I really care about. And I'm able to connect in a way that I think is amazing. Did you feel that way too? Or what was your?
I feel like I've always had mentors to different stages of my life. So I always, I know, I know they're your parents, but I always felt like my mother was, because she taught me street smarts, and um, it's interesting looking back. A lot of the people that she did not really like, um, on mainstream media, we're finding out things about now, and I was like,
She knew all
you knew
along.
before I did.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So growing up, it was my mom. Then when I started in college, it was some teachers, some professors that I had. They really, I went to a Jesuit school, Fordham, but we were, science major, and I lucked out with professors that really taught you to think.
It's a funny thing. I'm thinking like, you say you went to a Jesuit school and now people are like, God, thank God you're all right. Good thing you made through, okay? It's really,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
'cause we
maybe
all know what that is now.
I just was on the right cusp of the timeline.
Mm.
But maybe it was my major as well.
Mhm.
But um, I mean, knowing now what we know about the medical field as well, yeah. But I know that our professors taught us to think and question. So I have to give them that. The graduate students that I worked with in the work study when I first started in college, my first boss, um, like super brain, and like knew everything about like how everything worked. So I got good work techniques from the early days from that, and the head of the lab as well, putting my name on publications. um and not so much in the mid portion or this like before this whole pandemic thing. Clinical is a little different. um it's really just more cutthroat, not cutthroat, but just more like procedural. It's like routine. So you don't really have the mentorship there. It's just here's what you got to do and do it kind of thing. But in the last 3 years, with all this stuff going on, I don't know them personally, but I feel like a lot of the intel people that we've been coming across, and a lot of the doctors that have been working to keep people out of the hospitals. I look to them as like a virtual mentor, you know,
Yeah.
because they're showing you the way that we should be and the way medicine should be, um, and the way politics should be. Um, so part of the awakening, I guess. But seeing that there's a lot of good people out there doing the right thing. And I look to them as like my, you know, not the physical mentors, because I don't know them personally, but just from what they project, um, and the vision that they have going forward. Um, I look at it that way.
I think that's so amazing that you had so many mentors.
And I'm sorry, I forgot Axel.
Axel, you're the one I was referring to at first. I think we need to just
I
set the
saved the best.
tone for that because he's his show. He's our guy. What am I gonna say?
I forgot to mention, yeah, some of the people that I met in the paranormal field as well,
Mhm.
because I've learned a lot from them, just technique wise and stuff. So I didn't want to forget to mention them. So yeah, I've always looked at, like, you know, who's around you at the time and what you're learning from them.
That's so amazing. I mean, I never felt like I had that, and I didn't feel like I had that with my parents very much. And I know why now. Although they did quite a lot for me in my life, and certainly mentored me in many things. It's just that my mom was sick most of my life, and my father was very busy focusing on her, and so we didn't really get that guidance that we needed. So um, I wasn't supported with things like even my schooling. I had, I graduated early from high school and left home, moved to New York City when I was about 16. Um, and got myself into Hunter College, but I was only there for one semester because I wanted to go dance after that. And yeah, it was just a lot. And so I've mentored myself largely, which was probably a bit of a catastrophe, but I got through a lot, and I'm very proud of myself, and I am a very interesting, unique person for that. But it has been a struggle, and later in life, I had to really find um, the support that I needed, which I got, and that's fantastic. And
You did it the hard way.
very much so. So it's like I hadn't had that kind of thing, but I always went gravitated towards things that were healing. I think also in therapy and um, in many different kinds of ways, healing of hands, mind therapy, therapists, things like that. And I found many, many great mentors in that to help me. And then I found the ways in which my parents did mentor me through that because I couldn't see what they did because I felt so deprived. Um, but when I realized that there was a great deal of love and care, to go through what we went through. And my dad was pretty amazing, Superman of a guy, but he couldn't distribute all that love everywhere. You had to focus on the love of his life. And yeah, so now I feel like I have more than I've ever had, which is really cool feeling to
Cool.
be able to say, hey, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna read this, and even to find mentorship in people that have helped us, and groups that we're in, and it's like you get a little mentor in that, and it's like
Mhm.
that's the thing where so much of what we're going through right now is really all about us and us doing our own work and not looking at something like that. But there is a tremendous amount of love, care, and support coming from the outside as well. And that's a hard thing to kind of put it all together, but we are mentoring each other, and we will learn how to do that as we love one another better than we ever have before, I think.
Yeah, I think there'll be much more of that going forward too. Just because of the opportunities that are gonna present to the world, and you know, A lot from what I'm hearing, a lot of it will not require experience, that you will be trained on the job. So, the like the sky's the limit. Everything's open and everything's on the table. So I think we're going to see a lot more of the support system that should have been there, because I feel bad for some of my coworkers because it's a smaller company and I'm not seeing the guidance for new management that you would see at a bigger company. But that's a given that, I guess they're
Oh, I don't
struggling.
even think you see it there. I think, we've largely been in a world that has just been so backwards in terms of the kind of support that we need. Everything is based on competition and working against each other instead of working with, in a community where you're supported, cherished, loved, lifted, and gifted, and gifted by others seeing your talents and promoting those, instead of this tearing each other apart, which has really been a very large part of our
Yeah.
lives. It's such a shock to come to it and go, oh my God, that's what it was. But it was.
Yeah.
And it
And then,
doesn't need to be that way anymore.
no, but we, like also should give herself credit for surviving that system and getting to the point we're at now.
And still
And
being
yes,
somewhat kind inside. It's like kind of a miracle. It's like, wow, how did we do that?
yeah.
When everything is set up to fail and to make you fail and to make you nothing.
But I think that's testament to the human spirit that,
Definitely.
we keep fighting even in the worst situations. So
I think it's an amazing thing, because I think when people say they have no faith, or, ugh, I don't believe in this or whatever, or I give up on everything, everything's so evil, government's evil, everything's terrible. It's like, do you have any idea how amazing we are to have survived this?
Mhm.
Even if you're saying things like, oh, pollutants in our food, in our water, we're eating the worst stuff, chemtrails, blah, blah. And it's like, even the fact that we've survived that is a testimony to our biology and our
Yeah,
physical capability, not to
exactly.
mention the other stuff on top of that. Like, how does anyone survive what we've been through? It's an absolute miracle.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, we should be dead. We're not. We're like so alive.
I guess there's a positive message in there somewhere.
Yeah,
That
I
no,
mean,
there definitely is, because we're still standing after all the stuff they tried to do to us.
it's
Which is going to be
incredible.
that's going forward.
That should make you wake up in the morning and go, wow, but I'm amazing. And imagine what happens when you take that all away.
Yeah.
I love this one thing. I think it was Jacqueline who said this. Who will you be without your difficulty? Who will you be
Good
without
question.
your difficulties?
Good question. Because what's the first thing we do? We're always complaining. We're always like, oh, this and oh that. And then what happens when all of the obstacles are taken away and you don't have those complaints anymore? You know? Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. And who will we be without all of this? Like, imagine if you start eating the right food, breathing the right air, um, watching the right things, listening to the right vibrational frequency, you start feeling really, really good. And then, my God, what's going to happen then?
Yeah.
What will we be capable of then, since we've survived something so intense?
Then each one of us will be a mentor.
Yeah. And we will mentor each other.
Right. And in different areas, because we're not any one of us is not going to know everything. So we're going to have to look to other people. I look to you for a lot of these topics because you're much more well versed in them. And so I'm learning something every day when I talk to you. And
I
so
am
going,
too.
that's what it's
Yeah.
going to be. It's really cool, actually. It's a whole new way of adult college in the real world, a new way of looking at it.
It's like love learning. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, we'll be doing things so differently. It's just not about that old paradigm anymore.
Yeah.
bunnies.
Yeah.
Axel's like, we've been doing it the entire time. Thank God you guys are finally getting on board.
Exactly, right? I mean, seriously, we have so much to learn from them. I mean, their extrasensory perception and their senses are so much more heightened than ours. So,
Yep.
so yeah, my newest mentor.
Definite mentor. Well, it's a great topic today. I enjoyed that a lot.
Cool.
All right.
Hope everyone else did.
Me too. Well, have a great day, everybody, and or night or evening or morning or whatever, wherever you are in the universe.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Just remember, it's always 5 o'clock. You can
Yeah.
have a drink. Oh, I love you. Have a great day.
Love you too, sweetie.
Bye.